Look, you know that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be huge when it's released sometime in 2019. It's a deep and meaty RPG full of evil businesses, ruthless crime lords, and wandering street gangs. It's like The Witcher crossed with Blade Runner and William Gibson. How could that not be great? Even better, it's the next game from CD Projekt Red, the company that turned a little-known Polish fantasy series called The Witcher into a household name. But there are a few things that you probably don't know about Cyberpunk 2077. Thanks to its tabletop RPG roots, the game already has a rich history. But if you're jonesing for a little more info on what CD Projekt Red has in store, there's a lot you might not know about Cyberpunk 2077. So let's dive into cyberspace for all the dirty details. Roll of the dice. For many players, Cyberpunk 2077 will be the first look they get at the vast and detailed Cyberpunk universe. Not tabletop role-playing gamers though, they've been enjoying Cyberpunk's charm since 1988 when game designer Mike Pondsmith decided to create the sci-fi dystopia. Cyberpunk, aka Cyberpunk 2020, takes place in an America where mega-corporations have co-opted the government, and street gangs roam the streets. As Pondsmith himself has said,
Cyberpunk isn't about saving humanity, it's about saving yourself.
Characters speak English, but they use so much futuristic slang that it might as well be an entirely different language. Fashion and style are a big part of Cyberpunk's overall focus, and high-tech cybernetic implants play a major role in the game's various stories. Cyberpunk 2077 is set a few decades after the pen-and-paper game, but it's based on the same material. Like the original tabletop game, Cyberpunk 2077's main location is Night City, a corporate-built metropolis. 30-year game. If turning the classic tabletop game into a video game sounds like music to your ears, you're not alone. Pondsmith himself agrees, as he explained in an interview with Game Reactor.
Cyberpunk is kind of made for doing a video game. And from the beginning, I thought about it, but we didn't have the technology to really pull it off.
Many game developers have tried to bring Night City to digital life over the years, but before 2077, none of them have succeeded. Some Cyberpunk adaptations got too far from the tabletop RPG identity for Pondsmith's liking, while others ran out of money. A World of Warcraft-style game fell apart when a key member of the development team was drafted into the military. Even besides a run of bad luck, it turns out that nailing down Cyberpunk's unique setting and distinct tone has always been the biggest stumbling block when it comes to a video game adaptation. So what makes CD Projekt Red, the Polish company behind Cyberpunk 2077, different? For one, the company has already taken its place among RPG royalty thanks to the success of the Witcher franchise. CD Projekt Red staff were also hardcore Cyberpunk fans who had grown up playing the game. Pondsmith was so impressed with the studio's knowledge of his game that he sold CD Projekt Red the rights, and the two have been working together ever since. Very, very big. CD Projekt Red's last game, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, was huge.
Geralt!
Its script was 450,000 words long, about the length of the entirety of The Lord of the Rings. Meanwhile, The Witcher 3's map was 20% larger than the one in Skyrim, and that's not even counting the game's downloadable content, which crafted a bunch of new locations and hours worth of material onto the game. Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be even bigger. Way back in 2016, Cyberpunk 2077 already had more people working on it than The Witcher 3 did at its peak, so you can expect Night City to be truly massive and detailed. No crossovers. In The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Geralt's adopted daughter, Ciri, mentions that she spent some time in an alternate dimension full of bizarre sights.
People there had metal in their heads, waged war from a distance, using things similar to megascopes. And there were no horses. Everyone had their own flying ship instead.
In other words, Ciri visited a world that seems awfully similar to Cyberpunk 2077's Night City. People have been speculating that Ciri will appear in Cyberpunk 2077 ever since. Well, we've got some bad news. Yeah, Ciri might have been talking about Cyberpunk 2077, but no, she's not going to appear in the game itself. Not if director Adam Badowski has his way. Badowski told Polygon, "We are not Kingdom Hearts, we are not joining universes, and I know that there are a lot of fans on the team and they would like to have Ciri in the game, but I am totally against it. Still, I hate this question." Sounds like he's taking a page out of Geralt's own script.
Well, I'm not about to give in.
Digital privacy. Hacking, cybercrimes, and corporate espionage play a big role in Cyberpunk 2077's high-tech dystopia. Oddly, they've played a small role behind the scenes too. In 2017, real-life hackers infiltrated CD Projekt Red's internal network and stole some of Cyberpunk's 2077's design documents. Then they threatened to release those files to the public unless CD Projekt paid a ransom. It sounds like a plotline straight from the game, but no, this actually happened. Unfortunately for the thieves, CD Projekt Red refused to play ball. Not only did the developer call the authorities, but they publicly said that they will not be giving in to the demands of the individual or individuals that have contacted us. According to CD Projekt Red, the Cyberpunk 2077 documents that the hackers got came from early in the game's development, so they wouldn't actually reflect the finished product. Still, if you're worried about spoilers, CD Projekt Red warned you to tread carefully and to only trust information from official sources like CD Projekt itself. Expanding world. Cyberpunk 2077 isn't just borrowing the setting and characters from Mike Pondsmith's classic role-playing game, it's helping push the tabletop RPG forward too. Although the original Cyberpunk just celebrated its 30th birthday, the game is still in active development. A third edition of the rules came out in 2005. Meanwhile, Pondsmith's been working on version number 4, coincidentally named Cyberpunk Red, for a number of years. That means that Pondsmith and CD Projekt Red need to work together if everything is going to be consistent. Pondsmith told Eurogamer, "When I write new stuff for Cyberpunk now, I talk to them so what I do in 2030 matches up with what's going to happen in 2077. We're constantly going back and forth. We work really hard on the timeline. We want people to have that sense that there's a coherent universe. They mesh together surprisingly well. Sometimes that means Pondsmith telling CD Projekt Red that they can't use certain characters or checking in with CD Projekt's developers about why they're making certain choices. Luckily, Pondsmith has lots of experience with video games, which helps the process a lot. The designer worked at Microsoft for years and also contributed to The Matrix Online. As a result, he speaks game development, which has served him well in his ongoing role as one of Cyberpunk 2077's most important consultants. As for what it all means for the main character in 2077, well,
what's going to happen is you're going to be able to see how the world built around and gave him that history.
The cycle continues. The collaboration between Pondsmith and CD Projekt Red doesn't just cover Cyberpunk, it's bled into The Witcher too. Sometime around 2015, CD Projekt Red decided that it would like to bring The Witcher's magical world from consoles to tabletops with its very own pen and paper RPG.
And we've a new contract. It won't pay much, but I think it worth the toil.
You've been busy.
Naturally, the company reached out to Pondsmith, who was already consulting on Cyberpunk 2077 for help. Pondsmith didn't have the time to take on the project, but he knew someone who did, his son, Cody. Cody had to fly with his father to Poland and pitch his take on The Witcher to CD Projekt Red staff. Thankfully for fans who want more Witcher, Cody landed the job, finally bringing Geralt, Ciri, and company to the tabletop. The Pondsmith family touch isn't the only connection between The Witcher role-playing game and Cyberpunk either. The Witcher will use Cyberpunk v3's rule set as its base, but that will likely be the closest thing to an actual crossover that you can expect.
That was a good game.
Yeah.